So, hey guys, so this is a flight lesson I just had recently where this footage was not intended to be uploaded, to be quite honest with you. It was just me experimenting with my new Insta360 Go 3S, which I had on my visor. This was to experiment with other views because sometimes in the other airplane I'll put in the GoPro where you can hear the cockpit audio and get a couple other views. So I'm experimenting with something on the kind of head tracking point of view. But in this instance, we actually caught a rare and my first ever full static system failure on takeoff. So I'm going to walk you through that a little bit. I'm sharing it just only because it's rare that you see these. It's rare that you see it, especially on the takeoff. Again, I apologize for the awful video. It's very shaky. It's all over the place. And I also apologize for this audio because it is being recorded on my laptop computer and it's absolutely horrendous. But stick with me for a little bit and I'll kind of share with you what's been going on. Okay. And we're just finishing up the run-up before we take off here. So I'm just making sure everything's done, everything's complete, and then we're going to get on the way soon. Okay, we finish up the run-up, kind of turning this thing around, and we're number 1 for runway 23 at New Bedford Airport, and we're just going to be asking to stay in the pattern. Just a second. Again, once we take the runway, take a look at the airspeed indicator and VSI. I'm going to notice it fairly quickly. I usually fly a different airplane. This is one that we had because the regular plane we fly actually was being rented out. And as you can see here, if you look closely, the DG is actually in op, and actually the AI is attitude indicator is also in op as well at the moment. But we were just taking it up to do some pattern work. But if you another thing to notice, which is why I hesitated just a little bit on takeoff and was a little confused. The airplane we usually fly is about 180 horsepower. This is a 160. So when we first took off and I wasn't getting much airspeed. It was kind of staying pretty, I'm climbing and it wasn't increasing. I thought it might have been because of the 160, but it was not, as you quickly could tell. So here we are taking a runway, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go, taking a runway. You can't hear, but we are checking static RPM. We are checking engine instruments in the green and looking for an airspeed that's alive, which we get initially. Here we go, rotate. And as you're going to see pretty quickly, my airspeed just stays there. No VSI, I'm not showing the climb, even though I'm climbing. I notice it, and I say something to the flight instructor, who then takes a look. And as I'm talking to him, you're gonna see that airspeed indicator goes like down another 20 knots, which doesn't make any sense, almost down to 40. And then his airplane, he takes over. At this point in time, we notify tower. We're kind of troubleshooting, try the alternate static source. We're just really trying to figure out what was going on. It's a beautiful VFR day, but now we don't have an airspeed indicator, we don't have an attitude, DG, altitude even. That was not acting right, and the VSI is gone. So yeah, we're just kind of heads outside the airplane and really trying to keep the airflow over there. And I think the name of the game was really just kind of, we discussed it, was to just stay fast and kind of come back around. And the idea was just to kind of do a 10-degree flat landing, come in hot. We have over 5,000 feet of runway, so we can just float this thing down and, that was the plan. And another note, we're actually told we're number 2 to land for 2-3, following another student pilot on a lesson who is with a flight school here at the airport. We declared everything. They know what's going on. They're number 1, we're number 2. We did not declare an emergency. We didn't think we needed to, but they did know what was going on. Tower knows what's going on. So we're just waiting for this traffic to pass us on our left so we can do what we thought was going to be a short approach. Turns out that that's not going to be the case. Starting our turn right now for base. We're going to be starting final in a little bit, and then we quickly realize that we're also coming in a little bit hotter than normal, and with 10 degrees of flaps. They're coming in with 30 degrees of flaps at 65 knots, so we are going to be overtaking them just a little bit, but we were hoping they know what's going on, so they were going to land and exit the runway as soon as possible, so that way we could just get back on the ground. Now, as you're going to see in a second, you can't see the traffic in front of us that's landing, but he ends up landing and he takes up most of the runway, and he has a ground roll that takes him almost all the way in to the end. So we thought he might be doing a full stop. We're getting really, really, really close here. So we're now starting to think that we got to go around, which we don't want to do due to the airspeed indicator, but we end up having to go around. And just a quick note, you can now see the airspeed indicator, altitude. They are alive. We don't trust it. Why it's only working in the descent and not the ascent, so we're not sure, but we're just not trusting it at this point. Now, at this point, the aircraft that was on the ground just took back off, so it did a long run off, but then ended up taking off again. So now he's in front of us, we're above him, and we're both on the upwind leg. So we asked Tower for an immediate left turn to get in front of him, so we could be number 1 and wrap it around for a short approach to 2-3. That's the plan. And I apologize too, as I'm sure you guys are probably getting all dizzy from me shaking my head to the left. You can't see, but I'm really trying to look underneath the wing to look for traffic. I'm not, I got a really bad view of that left strut, so I apologize. Now, as we're coming back around, it's a beautiful VFR day. As long as we're keeping ourselves nice and fast, this should really be no issue. We still have the stall horn to give us any real indications of getting too slow. But it's still, I think, it's been a long time since I was soloing, and I have probably about 25 hours of solo time. But my only experience in the past of doing something similar to this was soloing, and my flaps wouldn't come down, so I had to come in hot and just float it down the runway. It really wasn't a big issue. I think this just, being a student pilot really kind of just makes you nervous, just because everything's airspeed, everything's V-speeds, everything's airspeed, and not having it, even though you're looking outside and you have a really good idea on how to judge airspeed. The one time you don't want to be judging airspeed is when you're landing and you're slow. So, the plan was come in a little bit hot, 10 degrees of flaps, and float it down the runway. And that's what he did. Coming up, short final. You're just gonna see it he's just gonna float it in. That airspeed showing right now almost 120 knots. Obviously that's not right. We are coming in faster, but we're not coming in that fast. But ground effect, we're gonna float it all the way down. And we end up using the entire runway. There we go.
Thank you.
Ride the stall horn all the way down to the mains hit, and there we go. Good job, Wyatt. Like I said, just sharing with you guys. Hopefully this helps. Just to give some people a visual. Again, I apologize for the jerky head movements. It wasn't planned to be released. I didn't even know what it was going to look like. I was even surprised I caught it. I didn't realize it until later on. So hopefully this helps you guys. And again, apologize for the video, apologize for the audio, and take it for what it is. And hopefully we all learn something from it.
I don't want anyone to ever do that. Like, look at that.
Yeah. But it was good that we both caught that, noticed it right away.
You caught it before I did, and then I was looking, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not trending right.
Oh. And first thing in my head is all right, this ain't the 180 horsepower, but it should be.
Yeah.
I'm usually doing 80, at this point.
Yeah, we had nothing.
And it went actually below. It was 60, and then went 55. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's just I have so many hours in Cessnas that I can feel when I'm slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got
It's the weirdest vibe having Steely Dan in the headphones.
You have it in
Yeah, that's gonna be a story to tell.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, airspeed indicator fails while I'm listening to 819.